All right, friends, it's Simon. We're back with a JasonBlaha video. In this video, we're going to react to the gym, lifting, recruiting, fitness, gear slaves video. Man, JasonBlaha says strength is never a weakness. Where did we hear that before, man? Strength is never a weakness. Massive Iron, Steve Shaw, I think. One of these influencers.
Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here with Jason Blaha Strength and Fitness, and today I thought I would chat with you guys and gals about why strength is never a weakness. But if you guys will please click like down below and drop me a comment under the video, I would appreciate it so much. Thank you. And I want to talk about this because so many people for different reasons are like, well, I don't care about strength. I don't train for any sort of strength. You know, even people who...
I do. I train for strength. I build myofibrillar growth. That's strength training. I don't know what kind of strength training he's doing.
Exercise and work out. And what I'm saying is...
I mean, of course, I don't do it like I did in the past, but, you know, I kind of still do it here and there.
This is the wrong mindset. If anyone says, well, you know, I'm not trying to be low conditioning or muscle bound, just stop. I can probably outrun most of the people who are going to say that.
Okay.
I actually run regularly. I do.
He runs regularly. He is running. He's spitting and choking. Yes, we've seen your running videos. It's ridiculous.
A 5K at least 3 days a week. So
at least a 5K 3 days a week. What a slave, man. This is really going to accelerate aging, him running. That's just insane.
And I'm 48 years old, guys.
And I'm 48. Well, fuck, really? I thought you were 85. I guess job well done, eh?
Actually do run. I actually enjoy running. I'm actually fairly...
That back has zero definition because he's still fat. You people just don't realize it. He is suffering from sarcopenia, but he's obese. You want to know why he's doing this stance with his hands? Because he thinks he's posing. He thinks you're looking at him from the side. But when you really see him, look how small his arms are and his shoulders and his forearms. They're tiny. He's got stick arms because sarcopenia. And so are his legs. Look at his legs. Sarcopenia.
Serious about running and other athletic stuff. I'm not
Look at the skin hang there at the bottom of his leg. Wow. That's just crazy, man. He's got a lot of it around his stomach. His boobs are hanging.
You know, a lifter. All right, so before people make that claim...
You'd never think that a normal person would continue in this behavior of destruction. You know that it's destroying you, whatever you're doing. Why would you continue in that behavior so you can completely destroy yourself? So here's the thing. I told you people in the summertime, during COVID, I was bored. There was nothing to do. So I started experimenting with these foods like fruits, and I was blending them, eating fruits and vegetables. I wanted to see what they would do, if they would make me better or whatever. They poisoned me. So if they did that, they made me bad. So if they made me bad, why would I continue in that behavior? So I can make myself even worse and destroy myself? You got to be crazy, man. So this is a sickness, a mental illness that Blaha has, that he has to continue in this behavior of destruction, destroying himself. That is a form of mental illness.
Again, I believe in well-rounded fitness.
I'm sure he does.
I believe we should all be well-rounded, which is kind of the point, with some of this strength.
I like that one, well-rounded. Blaha is the least well-rounded person. He doesn't play any sport. So what is the purpose of lifting weights? I'll tell you what the purpose of bodybuilding is: to build myofibrillar growth, and it is a carryover to every sport. But what he's doing is not a carryover to any sport. What he's doing here, nothing, not a zero.
It's never a weakness, and I think people, they fail to understand this with their other goals. And I don't care whether your goals are to do some other sport. I don't care if your goal is to run faster, to run.
I love that. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Strength is never a weakness. It is a weakness. It can be a weakness because you're fucking brainwashed. You're a peasant slave, bro. Get it? You're a slave.
Further, to jump higher, to have a better physique, to be healthy, to be fit, to stave off cancer, whatever your reasons are for this different stuff, you have to understand.
Look at this guy. Foolish. He's so arrogant. Look at him with those glasses sticking up his chin. He thinks this is pretty, man. That's just crazy. Oops. Sorry about that. Blaha thinks that this is pretty. He's totally delusional. It's not at all.
Strength transfers to all of it. Okay, and I'll jump over into all the others, the performance ones, but even the physique stuff. I'm sorry,
Strength
but even
transfers all of it?
most of the best bodybuilders.
Strength transfers to all of it. What strength? What strength is being transferred? Motor unit or myofibular strength? Which strength are you training for? Myofibular strength or motor unit? Well, in myofibular, we get motor unit and we get myofibular. What do you get in motor unit strength? Oh, more motor unit strength. Get motor unit strength. Is there any myofibular there? No. So which one is superior? Building myofibular growth, which you have motor units and myofibulars, or I'm just trying to recruit motor units. So which one do you think is more superior? Duh.
You know, keep in mind, looking like a great bodybuilder is very much genetic, by the way, just an FYI. But historically, even most of the best bodybuilders for generations and generations, were all insanely strong. Okay? They were all very strong at big barbell lifts, so you can't even make
They were all very strong or very good at barbell lifts. What do you mean by strong exactly? See what I mean?
that claim, but also when you understand that muscle growth, when you are not upping the dose and continually adding more and more and more drugs all the
I've seen old people lift their shopping like heavy ass shit sometimes, but they have no power. Are they strong because they have no power, but they lifted something heavy and put it in a car? Have you ever seen an old person try to run down the street? Yeah, man.
time, mechanical tension and increased overload is really the only way to make a muscle grow. And I hope people understand this. It's the only consistent.
Overload and mechanical tension is the only way to make a muscle grow. Muscles don't grow from mechanical tension and overload. Maybe you're talking about sarcoplasmic hypertrophy, overload and some mechanical tension pumping it up, but not from micro damage. A micro damage, it's damage. That's not a growth. Food grows myofibular growth. So he doesn't say anything about food. He just says a weight is going to build you a muscle. Yeah, okay.
Means that you have of muscle growth, guys. So just stop. Well, I don't care about saying
You're not building any muscle. None of you are, and neither is Blaha. Look at him. If he's not building it, what makes all you think you're going to build it listening to him and his stupid ass clients?
you should. Are you going to add another steroid to your stack? Are you going to double the doses of one of your current ones?
See, there you go. He's telling you you could build muscle. You're going to do this. You're going to build muscle. Meanwhile, steroid stacks and steroids and all that, faking it. Get it? Because he's telling you none of you are going to build any muscle, and neither can Blaha without steroids. He could build some fake muscles.
Well, no, I'm not even going to use any. Well, then you better care about strength. How are you going to gain muscle?
How you going to see? You better care about strength, but how are you going to gain muscle? How are you going to gain it? When protein synthesis outpaces protein breakdown. That's how you're going to gain it, you dumbass.
Well, answer me this question. If you are not going to add more anabolic drugs to your current stack, whether it's 0 or you're on 6 different ones, how are you going to gain muscle?
See, a slave would take anabolics. Only slaves, because they can't afford to eat, so they fake it with anabolics. Anabolics don't outpace muscle protein breakdown. They don't outpace it. See what I mean? That's all bullshit. That is a hormone. You're injecting more hormone. That's all. You already have hormones in your body. How come you're not building anything with the hormones that you already have? Oh, I know. You're going to say, but I have low testosterone. Yeah, okay. Testosterone builds myofibulars? How do they build exactly? How does testosterone build a myofibular out of nothing, out of thin air, like whatever? How does it exactly build it? I thought that, me personally, I thought that progenitor cells, stem cells build myofibulars. That's what it says in science. It doesn't say that testosterone builds a myofibular. Testosterone is a molecule. It is not a stem cell, duh. Stem cells, they build cells. They have to replicate. They donate their nuclei and yada, yada, yada. They do stuff. But muscles are post-mitotic. See, muscles are post-mitotic. So if muscles are post-mitotic and muscle cells do not split, how the fuck Does a testosterone injecting it build muscle if muscles are post-mitotic? They do not split and divide. Read science, bro. You don't believe me? Look. See, this is the reason why you're not building muscle. This statement that muscles are post-mitotic, meaning they do not divide, is generally true for adult skeletal muscle, which primarily increases in size through hypertrophy. However, skeletal muscles contain satellite cells, see, stem cells, that can divide and differentiate to what? Repair damage and regenerate fibers. Smooth muscle can also undergo a form of cell division called hyperplasia, as seen in the uterus during puberty in the uterus. But we're not in the uterus, get it? Post-mitotic fiber. Adult skeletal muscle fibers are considered post-mitotic, meaning the mature fibers themselves do not divide. So how do you build muscles? How exactly does a steroid build a muscle? And how do weights build muscles? Because he keeps saying that weights are going to build, I don't know, I guess myofibrillar growth, maybe sarcoplasmic, but not myofibrillar. Satellite cells, these residual stem cells, are located near the muscle fibers and are activated by injury. They're activated by what? By injury. They divide, differentiate, and fuse to form new muscle fibers. So what do you got to do? You got to injure these muscle fibers. How do you got to injure them? Well, you got to damage them, like it said there, right? It says damage. It says up here, damage. It says that divide and differentiate due to what? Repair, damage, and regenerate fibers. We're regenerating. We're regeneration. We're regenerating muscle fibers. How are we doing that? Well, through stem cells, right? Because muscles are post-mitotic. So you need to do something specific to injure them. Like it says here, activated by what? Injury. And then they divide, differentiate, and fuse to form new muscle fibers, enabling muscle regeneration. Now, if you don't do that, then it's not gonna happen. And then hypertrophy, primary way of skeletal muscles grow largest through hypertrophy, where existing muscle fibers increase in size, not number. Well, they increase in size, but not number. Okay, that's the fiber itself. So you get what they call myofibrillar growth, hypertrophy. But we can get hyperplasia through that, and that is kind of a form of hyperplasia, anyways. The sarcomeres, that they grow in series and in parallel, that is a type of hyperplasia. They're talking about the size itself growing as hypertrophy. Hypertrophy means something is expanding. It's expanding, but it's growing through something called a means of hyperplasia. Because when these cells, like it says here, they divide, split and divide, increase in number. Well, they divide and differentiate. Well, if they're dividing, that's a type of hyperplasia. See what I mean? But the size itself, they consider that hypertrophy when it's expanding. Yeah, so there you go. Because it says here, look, smooth muscle. Well, smooth muscle too has hyperplasia, type of hyperplasia, whatever. Because the cells are what? Dividing. It says here dividing too. Unlike skeletal muscle, smooth muscle cells can divide. Okay, they can divide by themselves. You understand me? I'll explain this. What they're trying to tell you here, that these smooth muscle fibers, they divide on their own, hyperplasia. But in you trying to get these muscles, because they're post-mitotic, you trying to get them to divide, you gotta damage them. So that damage is that dividing of that cell through injury is considered hyperplasia. But how muscles grow, they hypertrophy in size. Get it? So there you go, man. I don't know what else to say there. You figure it out. You are all geniuses out there. There we go. Back with Blaha.
6 different ones. How are you going to gain muscle if you don't get stronger?
Easy. Damage it. And then protein synthesis needs to outpace protein breakdown. That's how you do it. Yeah, because they're post-mitotic. Now, like they said there, smooth muscle it can divide on its own, hyperplasia. But you have to prompt your muscles to divide because they're post-mitotic. Muscles do not divide just because you're moving a weight up and down, up and down. Muscles are post-mitotic. Get it, dude?
I'll tell you real quick,
And I think I'm going to have to do a video on this.
You're not going to gain crap.
Yeah, okay.
You're not going to gain muscle, at least not significant amounts. You're done. You better get stronger.
You better get stronger.
You do know this, right?
What do you mean by get stronger? Recruit motor units? Get better at lifting? See what I mean? You see how dumb this lifting world is? They're so dumb, man. They don't understand anything, fucking. Your muscles aren't fucking growing because they're post fucking methodic. Are you people fucking retarded out there? Your muscles are fucking post-methodic. Waving your magic wand around in the gym, looking at your goofball buddies and everything, your slave buddies there lifting. The muscles are post-methodic. They do not split and divide like smooth muscle can. Duh. That's why people say they don't hyperplasia. So if muscles don't hyperplasia, well, fuck are you lifting in the gym for then? Get it? You ain't building fucking jack shit there. So what exactly is that size you're getting? Sarcoplasmic. Because all of you are eating the slave food diet and lifting weights thinking I'm building muscle. Woohoo! Muscles are fucking post-methodic. They do not split and divide just because you want them to, because you're waving your magic wand up and down in the air. I can lift a heavy weight, and somehow that'll magically build a muscle because I lifted a heavy weight in the gym. Or what is the old saying? I got a stronger. If you get a stronger, you get a bigger. Yeah, good luck with that. Okay.
You either have to get stronger or you have to add more drugs. That's your only options.
See? Either you have to get stronger or you have to add more drugs. That is your only option. But guess what? If you drugs do not cause muscles are post-methodic. The drug cannot cause it to split and divide and increase in number. Now, if you injure them, they will split and divide, increase in number. I know that testosterone can augment the satellite cell and possibly increase it or cause more of these nuclei to be deposited by the satellite cell. So they say something, I don't know. Now, it's a possibility. I don't know. I just know that it will increase the sarcoplasm, the steroid. Okay, the muscles are post-methodic; they don't grow. And lifting a heavy weight doesn't cause the fiber to split and divide. Get it? They are post-methodic. So steroids can't cause muscle fibers to split and divide. Neither can lifting a heavy weight because muscles are post-methodic.
Past a certain threshold. So pick one. Man, you'll live a lot longer if you just get stronger and use less drugs.
You'll live a lot longer if you use less drugs, whatever. No, not necessarily. You're going to live a lot shorter. You're shortening your lifespan doing this. You just don't realize it because you're not basing your exercise on regeneration. You understand me? You're adapted.
Probably do better. So for the people who are not understanding that, you need to understand that. All right, so what about all the other stuff? Well, get into
What a goof. Look at this guy. He's crazy.
other sports, it's very
He pointing again? His head up in the air. He's ridiculous.
obvious. Again, people may not be aware of this because they don't follow the cutting edge of top sports and strength and conditioning. All your best athletes.
I follow all the sports, man. I know all the science and I followed all the sports. I've always known that muscles weren't growing, me lifting weights. They just weren't growing. You know, and even then I ate not bad, but they just weren't growing. Why weren't they growing? Because they're post-methodic. You kind of figure it out on your own. You're thinking to yourself, okay, this isn't really working. I'm lifting, I'm doing bro splits, I'm lifting. It feels very blunted. I don't see any size coming on. Nothing is really working there. What's going on here? And then all of a sudden, some people, they go, well, bulk. And bulk means to add more carbohydrates. But carbohydrates, they don't build muscles. But they will build sarcoplasmic artificial growth. You'll hypertrophy. Hypertrophy just means something is expanding. You'll hypertrophy the sarcoplasm, but you won't hypertrophy myofibrillar growth. Get it? See what I mean? So when people tell me, oh, hyperplasia doesn't exist. Well, okay, good luck then. Get it? It doesn't exist there. Good luck. Yeah. So if hyperplasia doesn't exist, then you can't build muscles because they're post-methodic. Get it, dude? All of you are stupid. You're going to the gym thinking you're building muscle, and the only thing you're fucking doing is accelerate aging by lifting all day in the gym because muscles are what? Post-methodic. Get it, dude? They don't split and divide. Their cells, they don't split and divide because you are waving your magic wand in the air. You're special. You're a special gym cell. Get it? Oh, it only works for special gym cells.
Lift. Even your triathletes, your Tour de France people, your ultra marathoners, lift weights, they actually, most of them back squat, right? Squats are actually barely common in all these.
Sure, yeah.
Best sprinters in the world all are really strong at back squats.
Oh, they are. All the best sprinters, they're good at back squats. Are you sure they're all good at it? I know sprinters, they don't lift any weights at all. They never confuse the two. They don't do any of that. There are some, and they're doing it wrong anyway because they're stupid. They don't understand. Like I told you, the fastest man in the world has never been discovered yet because they have never done that type of training to make themselves absolutely faster. Now, at the time, I ran pretty fast, building myofibrillar growth in my legs years ago. Did I ever go compete with nobody? No, I've never competed with anybody. But they said I was fucking fast, lightning fast, because more myofibrillar growth in your legs will make you faster. It gives you more strength velocity is increased with every bout of exercise, you remodeling more of these myofibrillars, there's more force velocity added with each bout. So yeah, it just keeps making you faster and faster. Is there an end to it? I don't know. You just keep going until you get whatever you want out of it. I don't know. Keep building more myofibrillars. With every bout, it'll give you more force velocity, making you faster. So the fastest man in the world hasn't really been discovered yet. They just take steroids, but steroids cannot make the muscle cells split and divide. They are post-mitotic. Get it, bro? That's why it's sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. Taking steroids. People are dumb.
500 to 600 pound back squats are not uncommon among elite sprinters. You need to understand being stronger will improve your work capacity on all of your running, whether it's sprinting. It's very, very obvious. There's a direct
here's
one-to-one correlation.
Here's one other thing. People will say, well, I read this thing, steroids. You get, when you take steroids, you get these nuclei. You get these nuclei. Where do nuclei come from? They got to be donated by the satellite cell. It's only because you lifted heavier, you were unaccustomed to lifting so heavy because you took steroids. So when you lift really heavy, you were unaccustomed to it. So you probably got a little bit of additional damage and some nuclei, but not a lot. You see, the nuclei, they synthesize protein for sure. They do their job. They repair, they remodel muscles. They do a bunch of stuff. But that doesn't mean anything. That just means that you're adapting now to lifting that heavy weight. And at some point with the steroid, you stop. You don't go much heavier. You might be able to bench up to 500, but then you stay at 500. You're adapted now. See what I mean? But is a lot of that size that you got with the steroids, is it because you got some nuclei? No. A lot of it is sarcoplasmic. I'm telling you, it's sarcoplasmic. That's why when these guys go off their steroids, they shrink like a motherfucker. That's why you see The Rock, he's like lost 50 pounds of muscle. He looks skinny. He looks like a pebble now. In 1 month, he lost it all in 1 month.
Again, the ability to produce force.
So, I know, you're going to say, but I put in the work. I put in the work and all this stuff. He did. He put in years of work, steroids, years and years and years. And guess what? He lost it all in 1 month. So what does that tell you exactly? Did he really put in the work? He worked for no other reason, for nothing, because muscles are post-mitotic. His muscles were fake. They were sarcoplasmic. Because if they were real and he went off the steroids, guess what? They would not have just gone away in 1 month, you fools. Get it? You have to be retarded to believe that this fucking guy built muscles, because muscles can't disappear in 1 month. Because they're permanent. Read science. If you build myofibrillar growth, they're permanent changes. They go through permanent structural changes. He didn't train for that. He didn't train to build myofibrillar growth. He trained nothing. It's a byproduct of whatever he was doing there on the steroids. That hypertrophy was a byproduct. They call it sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. It's fake. It just came along with him taking the steroids and, I don't know, pump training and do what the fuck he's doing there.
Right? The ability to produce force.
Yeah.
Very, very self-explanatory. Hopefully everyone grasps this concept. If you're stronger, you produce more force, higher neural drive. You can sprint a little faster when you need to grab kind of that next gear. You need that fast start.
Yeah, if you build myofibrillar growth, you will. But you're not building any of that. Neither is Blaha.
Okay. Distance running and things, it's a little less obvious other than think in terms of relative work capacity. Okay?
Yeah, okay.
Every step is easier when you're stronger.
Okay? Yeah, okay.
It's going to be helpful.
Yeah.
It's going to be helpful. Also, the fact you're going to get the bone density, the stronger you are, the better your bone density, the less fractures you're going to get, and overused fractures.
Bone density? Your muscles, your bones aren't getting tear. You're not getting micro tears in your bone. Your bone is just adapted to moving these weights up and down. And there's not enough tension of the weight on the bone to cause it to want to do any of that. So you're just wasting your time. You're weakening yourself is what you're doing. You come in the gym and you lift these things adapted, you are weakening your bones. Especially the older you get and you lift like this and it's not regenerative, these bouts are not regenerative, you're not shooting for regeneration, you're just weakening yourself more and more. You're putting yourself to be more susceptible to causing a hip break or something if you fall down, and then you'll die. That's all. You're prepping yourself to die early. Like Blaha, he's just deteriorating faster than he's aging.
And running fractures you're going to get from your running. Again, strength builds.
Yeah, running fractures, running micro tears. So people that sprint, they get micro tears in the bone and in the muscle fibers, providing they do enough of it. Yeah, because your bones are hitting the ground. They're pounding on the ground at the same time. They're pounding at the same time, and they're going through stretches, multiple stretches, sprinting, like rapid stretches, fast. A rapid, fast movement.
Bone density, which is really important to all these other quality of life topics. The stronger you are, the higher your bone density. Okay?
The stronger you are, the higher the bone density. The better you are at lifting these weights, the higher the bone density? No. Bone density is based on nutrition. If you if you're eating slave food diet, peasant slave food diet, and lifting heavy weight, adapted, you're deteriorating because lack of nutrition. These anti-nutrients interfere with a bunch of stuff, and you cook the shit out of your meat. It's processed. So that's why Blaha looks so poor. Look at him. He looks like a poor guy, a poor man.
And you can lift 500 pounds, your bone density is pretty dang good.
Because you can lift 500 pounds, you have good bone density? No. You're either lifting it because you're taking steroids or you've practiced at doing it for one rep like Blaha.
Not saying that's where you have to get. Not saying that for these other endeavors. You don't have to be where I'm at.
Oh, yeah.
But you should get stronger. Okay?
I suggest all you get stronger. Start building myofibrillar growth. Get stronger, yeah.
All your other sports, you understand there's a reason boxers tend to have really good bench press. Mike Tyson could bench over 400 pounds back in the day. Force production.
Mike, whatever his name, Mike Tyson, he took steroids, you idiot. I like Blaha. He could bench 400 pounds back in the day. He took steroids.
You produce force, all your best MMA fighters.
He produced force, but he produced some force. He carried a lot of weight on his body, so he knew how to use it. Could he use good, did he have good kinetic force production or kinetic energy? Yeah. He had good kinetic energy, man. When he hit somebody, he hit him. They said he hit him. It felt like bricks hitting them in the face. So that just goes to show you. I know he did a lot of stretching exercises. He definitely did stretching exercises for his arms, his fucking neck and shit. You can see him in his training. So I know most likely he carries a lot of myofibrillar growth because a good amount of his mass never really kind of shifted, didn't really move away until he went to prison probably. They gave him a lot more steroids. I'm not saying that he never took steroids. I'm saying that a lot of his training was bodybuilding. It was myofibrillar growth. Yeah. Also repetitively punching a bag, that causes bone density. Those repetitive punches can cause some damage to muscle fibers as well. You're stretching out your arms, punching something repetitively. See, repetitively overworking that muscle.
They all lift weights and they all lift heavy.
How muscles remodel to your exercises are all dependent on what you're doing there. If a person needs to fight in it, like these old guards in the army or these gladiators, right? A gladiator, they grab a sword and they start stabbing a pole. They stab the pole until they can't stab it no more. What happens? The muscles are damaged. They've lost all their force production. There's micro tears, the bones micro tears. Now they need to go through a remodeling. After a week later, they go through the remodeling. They repeat the same thing again. They fucking stab the pole forever until they can't stab it no more. It's dead. Your arm is completely dead. And guess what happens? Got to go through remodeling again. Get it? The next time you come back, you do it much longer, more stronger. Yeah, a bunch of stuff. Get it? That's the idea. Yeah. So when these people would go out to battle, they would have to be able to stab for long periods of time. So the myofibrillar growth does that. It makes you strong enough and gives you that endurance and strength and everything at the same time, so you can keep stabbing people in a fight. Because if your arm was to get weak at any point or drop or anything, you'll be dead because they stab you. Get it? You can't move your arm no more. You can't stab. They stab you. That's the person that will survive in a fight. Right? A sword fight. Who is the one that would survive the most? If they're in a close contact, close proximity, and people are fighting, which ones are going to survive in a fight? Well, the one that can keep stabbing forever, that never gets exhausted, tired, or gets weak in that movement. They get weak. Yeah. Due to muscle damage. Muscles can start getting micro tears. If they get micro tears while you're stabbing these individuals, well, then your arm is going to get weak and drop. Boom. Then you're dead. Get it? Yeah.
The overwhelming majority. Force production.
Like Blaha.
Football players, baseball. Again,
Blaha is weak. He can't produce any kinetic energy. He'd fucking be dead if he tried any of that. Any kind of fight that he would get into a fight or something, he'd be dead because no kinetic energy doesn't build myofibrillar growth. He wouldn't be good. So you don't have to practice at fighting. You just have to create a very strong, brutish body that is strong enough to outlast anybody in a fight and strong enough to get through the motions. If you can throw the most punches without getting exhausted or weak or getting micro tears in it, and you can constantly keep throwing punches, you're going to win. But there's nobody out there that is even trained for that. These stupid boxers, MMA and all that, they don't train like that at all. They train like BJJ, bullshit stuff, whatever. They don't really train for like real myofibrillar growth so they can fucking destroy their opponent. If there was a guy that was like that out there and they trained like that, yeah, they most likely would destroy all their opponents. See what I mean? In the beginning, they just overwhelmed them with crazy amounts of punches and kicks and punches. They wouldn't have to back off and wait for him to punch them. They just keep drilling him to the point where that guy would just drop. It was so overwhelming, he died.
strength transfers to all these other endeavors. What about the quality of life? Well, the strength is going to carry over to the ability to move.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Some of it's obvious. I'll get it.
Your strength is going to be carried over to the ability to move. Well, yeah, you're moving now, aren't you?
Into all the cancer and stuff in a minute, but let's talk about quality of life as you age. Strength is never a weakness. The stronger you...
Quality of life as you age, you're not really aging. You're deteriorating. You don't age. You're not growing, so you don't age. You are aging yourself. You're deteriorating yourself. There's no age. There's just a biological clock and you die. Animals, when they die, they don't age. They just die. Like when you see a lion die, does he look deteriorated to you? No. He gets a little bit slower, right? He gets tired because he's dying at this point. To the point where he's actually going to die. You know what I mean? Right up to that point, he's doing fantastically well. But on the day he's about to die, you'll see him not moving so quick. He'll be like so and so because he's already dying. The body is prepping him to die. He has no appetite. He can't eat. And if you can't eat, you become weak, tired, slow, sluggish, and then you die. That's why you see a pack. These pack of like lions, these women lions or whatever, they go and they get the lion now and they start biting this lion because he's already dying. He's not eating, he's not consuming, he can't do anything. So they just see him as like a nuisance. So they just decide to put him down anyways. Because think about it. How can a lion let these lionesses come and bite him and try to take him down? He's a lion, right? He's powerful. Everybody's scared of the lion because he's already about to die. His body's prepping him to die like a human body. The human body preps you at the end of your life. You'll start to be very slow, tired, feel very weak because you won't be eating anymore. Your body will prep you not to eat, to sleep, and then die. Get it? But the question is this: are you aging? No, you're not aging. You're deteriorating because age doesn't exist. There's just a biological clock.
You are, the more strength you're going to have when you're older. You're going to keep better bone density. Again, remember that point about the heavy lifting and bone density? Osteoporosis, fractured hips, that's deadly.
I know that's deadly. That's Blaha.
You do understand that that first hip fracture after age 40 or after age 60 is a death sentence.
Yeah.
Okay, 19 out of 20 people are dead within 3 years when they fracture a hip after age 60. Let me state that again. 19 out of 20 people after their first hip fracture are dead within 3 years if they're
Right. What if Blaha breaks his hip? What will happen to him? What will happen to him? Will he die? Yeah, he's going to die if he breaks his hip. Can he break his hip? Yeah. Want to know why? Because he's weak. He's old. He has weak bones. He has poor bone structure. He has small bones.
age 60 or older. Why? Because you completely deteriorate from that point because you're sedentary now.
Wait. You completely deteriorate because you're sedentary? No. Sedentary people that eat their natural carnivore diet, natural diet, they don't deteriorate. People like Blaha on the slave food diet and doing this laboring in his garage, laboring and slave food diets deteriorate you. See, that's what deteriorates you. Yeah. My uncle on the farm, he was already really old and he was deteriorating because he did too much work. He overworked himself and he broke his hip. And within a year or so later, he died. He just passed away recently. So yeah, that shit happens, you know, shit happens, man.
And old, you die. It kills you. Lifting heavy improves bone density.
He lifted heavy. He was big. My uncle was massive. Holy fuck. I never seen a person that big before. He had big hands. He was big. He worked on a farm. Heavy duty labor work, bro. Heavy labor work. And guess what it did to him? It fucking deteriorated him because he ate too much slave food diet. That's the problem. See, there's too much DNA damage. You're accumulating too much DNA damage. That was his problem. And his problem was he loved drinking alcohol, smoking, and eating slave food. He ate way too much slave food. He cooked his meat. He didn't eat raw stuff. He didn't eat natural food. He didn't eat natural food, bro. He was terrible when it came to food. I knew him. He was really bad when it came to eating. And so that accumulation over time caused him to deteriorate. And that is Blaha. He's deteriorating. Look at him. See?
And improves support of all those things.
Holy shit, did you see how skinny he was there at the side? Look at that.
And old.
Watch
you
this.
Die. It kills you.
Yeah, it kills you.
Lifting heavy improves bone density and improves.
Look at him. He's fucking. This sarcopenia, bro, guy. This sarcopenia. Holy shit, I went too far there. Fuck. I messed that up. Whatever. Anyway, later.
And old. You die.
You die.
It kills you. Lifting heavy improves bone density and improves support of.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't do that at all.
All those things like your hips and everything else. It literally makes the bones harder and harder to break. This is
not if you're malnourished, eating a slave food diet. It doesn't. It makes it weaker.
Not a controversial point. It is extremely well done.
You'll get weaker and weaker on the slave food diet and lifting weights. Now, if you lift these weights, okay, but you can protect yourself from deteriorating. You know how you do that? When protein synthesis outpaces protein breakdown, that can protect you from the deterioration of these exercises that you're doing as a lifting slave. Now, I'm not a lifting slave. I'm a generating slave. I regenerate my body. I don't lift. I'm not a lifting slave.
Documented. I've had my bone density scanned, by the way, in a DEXA scan, and I was like 4 standard deviation above average.
Whatever.
It's insanely high, but I'm a strength athlete. You would expect this. So osteoporosis.
He's lying to you. It's low. It's low, and it says that it'll show up in his from his age, and on the DEXA scan it'll show up like that, very low.
Preventing breaks, preventing fractures, all the stuff required.
He suffers from sarcopenia. He's got psoriasis and other metabolic diseases and shit.
quality of life. Strength as you get older too, the ability to get up off the toilet, the ability to get up off the floor. Okay? If you are too weak to do things, being weak is a complete weakness in every way. Being strong will improve your quality
That's
of
Blaha. He's completely weak.
life. It's literally the difference between walking with a cane or a walker versus being able to walk around. Also, all that.
Yeah, I can show you a lot of those crazy lifters. They're all like with canes and walkers now because it crippled them. So not only is lifting bad, but it's crippled the fuck out of them. They're all these power lifters. They're crippled. I'm not joking. They've taken down their channels. They're like the vegan compilation, the vegan people. They quit veganism because it deteriorated them and it destroyed them. And so the power lifters, the same thing. These young power lifters, they're gone. They take their channels down. They sweep. They go away and they're gone. There's so many channels like that. I've already shared them on my channel. I shared them with you when I did these Blaha videos. I showed these guys like Max Strasny and all that. What's his name? Omar Izov. They're not posting anymore. Want to know why? Because they're destroyed. It's destroyed them, the lifting. So they don't do any of that no more. Yeah.
Strength and bone density in the back from these heavy loaded lifts keeps your back healthy so that it doesn't shrink and you're not this slumped over old person.
Yeah, I don't think so. You're a slumped over old person with a cane because you're eating slave food diets. Just so you guys are all deteriorating out there. See what I mean? That's why you're doing that. If you ate your natural carnivore diet naturally, right, raw, like it's supposed to be in its natural state, then you won't have any of those problems because it would never happen to a natural human. All of these things Blaha talks about, it happens to unnatural humans like himself.
Shrink and you're not this slumped over old person. Okay?
Look at Blaha. Does he look like a young person? If I stood up to Blaha, what do you guys think would happen? I got long blonde hair. My face looks really good. My body looks really good. If I stand up next to him, what do you think? Who do you think is going to look aged? Remember, I'm 10 years older than him. If I stand up next to him, look at the way I look and look at the way he looks. Who do you think is going to look better, Blaha or me? Huh? Who do you think looks better? We stand up against each other. Me being 10 years older than him. I fucking look way younger than him. See what I mean? He looks way older than me. He's the opposite. So that must mean something. That must mean that sedentary keeps you young and eating a natural, at least as natural as you can, meat. He doesn't do that. He eats plants and shit all day. I'm not much of a plant or fruit or whatever eater. I don't do too much of that shit at all. Well, actually, I don't do that now anymore. So there's the difference. I stopped doing that completely and I eat even more raw food, which is making me even younger and better. Eating raw food, like the looks maxing guys.
All right, about all the other health stuff? How about cancer, heart disease, diabetes? Strength training puts more muscle on you.
No, you're just circulating and burning these artificial fake foods. You keep burning them because you're lifting, but they're deteriorating you at the same time. And you could get a disease lifting. That doesn't mean anything. Eating slave food can still cause you cancer and even lifting because all this stress you're causing to your body. Stress is known in fact to cause cancer.
Okay, sarcopenia.
And malnourishment is associated with cancer, and so is lifting.
It contributes to all these. Lifting weights, strength training reduces cancer rates by 50%. We know the path.
No, it produces cancer because I know many people that were lifting slaves and they got cancer. My sister, she worked really hard, labor work. She was exercising in her job. She was lifting heavy stuff all the time, moving stuff around, and she ate a slave food kind of diet. Like Blaha here. And guess what? She got cancer. Now, my sister's a little bit older than me, and she's way over than 10 years older than Blaha. So Blaha hasn't even reached my sister's age, the age of 60. And my sister looks young, though. You see, for age, she still looks pretty good. She doesn't look that bad. But she's kind of getting a lot older faster now. And I look a lot younger than her, even though I'm only about a year and a half or so older than her. See what I mean? So, yeah, I don't know, man. It's like, yeah, I don't know, man. She got cancer. She got a bunch of problems.
Ways by which it does it reduces type 2 diabetes by 70% with no other interventions. That's assuming no change in diet.
It doesn't prevent diabetes. If you're eating a slave food diet full of sugar, The sugar is the cause of it. How can that prevent it? How can lifting prevent diabetes if you're consuming a lot more sugar than your insulin can remove from your arteries?
Just the lifting alone, 70% reduction. Impact on cardiovascular disease, strength training in meta-analysis is a hair better than cardio for reducing overall cardiovascular risk factors. When you combine the two together, it's even better. So you start thinking of all of these quality of life things and these
Yeah, there's no quality of life being a lifting slave. I can tell you that much. There's no quality of life there.
various life-ravaging diseases. Strength training creates a buffer against all of them. Also creates a buffer against obesity. You have better glycemic control. When you have muscle and lift weights, you dispose of carbohydrates, blood sugar more efficiently. Your insulin sensitivity is better. You have lower circulating insulin. Everything
Not if you're eating a slave food diet, you're not.
functions better due to the metabolically active muscle tissue.
No, no.
And when you
Well, your body doesn't the progenitor cells they aged. They don't function the way your body doesn't function the way it did when it was a lot younger. That for definitely for sure. But a big reason for that is because the amount of DNA damage you've accumulated. You're eating a lot of processed meat. It's cooked. And you're eating those damaged parts. And when you're eating damaged DNA, it's being absorbed in your DNA. So you're absorbing damaged DNA. So now you need, what is it? You need something called autophagy to remove these damaged parts because you're eating a lot of damaged DNA. So the best thing to do is what? Not cook your meat, not process it by cooking it so you don't absorb these damaged parts. Get it? It's so you won't deteriorate so fast. Now, if you eat it naturally, then you won't be absorbing these damaged parts and your damaged DNA won't be damaged and then you won't look like Blaha. Get it? You'll look young and strong. So you won't have these problems.
The stronger you have, again, more metabolically active tissue. This is beneficial across the board.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
I don't care what your goals are. Getting stronger will absolutely improve all of them. And when I say stronger, I
None of you are getting stronger. It's all a lie.
mean just progressive overload, particularly doing bigger exercises, right? Doing bigger exercises. Strength training is, again,
Yeah, sure.
moderately heavy to very heavy weight relative to your strength. For you, 50 pounds might be super heavy. For me, it's going to be over 500. It's going to be super heavy. But again, back over to that point, relative to your strength, big movements that load the entire body. They build the support structures of the entire body.
No, they don't. Food builds everything in your body. Food can regenerate your body. Your body goes through a regeneration naturally by itself anyways. Your skin, your bone, your muscle, it kind of regenerates by itself. It has to. And so if you miss those cycles of regeneration by eating a slave food diet, still you're fucked because it's going to regenerate from broken parts. It won't do anything. You're using slave food to try to regenerate your body with. Remember the old saying, you are what you eat. And if you eat these things, plant DNA, you're absorbing plant DNA in you. You're gonna become a plant. Get it? Plant DNA. I don't know. Like these fish, they ate leaves. They were in a river eating these leaves, and then when they tested them, 70% of their DNA was leaves from the tree. Get it? Because these fish eat the leaves, bro. So you're absorbing this DNA. So you don't want to eat plants. You don't want to absorb their DNA in your body because it's not a good thing, dude. Gonna fuck you up.
Your bones, your tendons, everything. It's not just about muscle, but muscle is pretty dang important.
Well, ligaments and tendons come along with the muscle. It's kind of obvious. Hello, it's not something you have to keep talking about. But okay, whatever.
All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.
Yeah, thank God, man. I'll see you in the next one. Tell us what you think about that. Like, subscribe, support the channel. See you same bad time, same bad channel.